It might seem like a long, long time, but trust me, 20 years goes by really quickly. Okay? So you're going to imagine you in 20 years. So you're going to be in your 30s, and you're going to write 5 questions that you would ask yourself in 20 years. Now, please remember, the correct pronunciation is not wowl. Please stop saying that, or wowl. No. The pronunciation, this child is driving me crazy. The correct pronunciation is would. Okay? Forget the O and forget the L. Just would. That's the correct pronunciation. So you're going to tell me 5 questions that you would ask yourself if 20 years had gone by. Okay? So I'm going to give you 2 minutes to start thinking. And we're going to go in the first round, you're going to give me 2 questions. And in the second round, the other 3 questions. Now, one more time. The questions that you're going to ask yourself cannot be answered with yes or no. They have to be questions that give you a more, a deeper, more eloquent answer. So think about yourself 20 years from now, when you're 31, 32, 33, 35. All the things that you think you want to accomplish before that age, and people in your 30s, you're not old. You're not old. You're just starting life. And then you're going to think about, for the first round, 2 questions that you would ask yourself if 20 years had gone by. So we're talking about the year 2041. In the year 2041, I'm going to be 71 years old. So I'm going to be that really old then. But let's pretend that 20 years have gone by and all of us meet at a restaurant. Whatever restaurant exists, if food even exists, we don't know. But we're going to meet at this restaurant in 20 years. I'm going to be 71 years old, but I'm not going to look 71. I'm going to look really young. And you are going to be in your 30s. And we're all sitting down, and think about that event and ask yourself questions as if 20 years have gone by. So I'm going to give you 1 minute to think, and then we're going to start with the first round. In the first round, you're going to ask 2 questions to yourself in 20 years. So 2 questions to your future self. Okay, everybody understands what we need to do? Yes? Okay, so I'm going to give you 1 minute to think. Okay, so that's 1 minute. And we're going to start. I'm going to take the list that I have here. We're going to start with Casey Rivera. Casey, 2 questions you would ask yourself if 20 years had gone by.
I still don't have.
How is that even possible? Think about what you want to accomplish in 20 years. Okay, Tomás Carvajal.
I was supposed to ask questions, right?
I don't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Thomas.
I was supposed to ask questions, right?
To yourself. Two
Okay.
questions to yourself.
What do you regret not doing when you were younger, and what do you enjoy the most about being a teen?
Oh, those are good questions. Those are good questions. Okay. Diego Lopez? Christian?
First question, how did you become millionaire? And the other one, how do you feel every day having work every day?
What's the second question? I didn't hear it.
I repeat all the two questions again.
The second one.
Okay, how do you feel every day having work every day?
Okay, good questions. I like that one about how did you become a millionaire? Excellent. You know, people, a lot of times we think that wanting money is bad, and that's not true because if you don't have money, you can't help other people. So, money is actually a good thing to have so that whenever there's any disaster, any emergency, instead of you being on the street asking the government to give you money, you can be one of those persons that gives to other people. Money is not bad. People are bad, not money. Okay, great questions, Christian. Alondra.
Okay. How do you know you took the best race and why? How can you know that you taking the best decision in your life when you are young?
Okay, so when you say race, you're referring to carrera, right?
Yep.
That's actually career. Because race is carrera de correr. Okay, so career. So, okay, so those are good questions. Very good questions. Daniela?
How have you left the stress, and in the end you studied medicine?
But your second question can be answered with yes or no. So you need to change that one. The first one, how did you finally manage your stress? Great question. The second one, you need to change it up a little bit. Okay? Can you change it now?
Mm, I don't know how. I'm still thinking.
Okay. Oh, Danielle is here. Nice. Okay, great, Daniela. Emily, is Emily here? Go ahead, Emily, your two questions.
Number one, what is the best thing I do when I was a kid?
Okay,
Um,
Emily, you're asking these questions to yourself. So you're gonna say, what was the best thing you did when you were a kid?
okay. What is the best thing you do when you was a kid? Did you regret something you did when you were young?
Okay, very good. And be very careful with the letter Y. In English, the letter Y is not J, that's in Spanish. In English, the letter Y is Y. So it's not you, it's you. Okay, very good questions, Emily. And then we have Marcela.
My questions are, how is your life going, and did you like your job and why?
How is your life going? And do you like your dog? Is that what you asked?
Job of trabajo.
Okay, sorry. Okay, good. Do you like your job? Okay, yeah, that's a good question. That's a good question. And Daniel Guillen.
A question that I do to myself.
In 20 years. In 20 years. So imagine that you're in your 30s and you need to ask yourself two questions
Two questions.
that you would ask yourself in 20 years. I can come back to you. You can think a little bit, okay? Luis?
Two questions.
Luis, you have been here from the beginning of the class. You know the answer to that. Give me your two questions.
Eh, when you are a child, what is your favorite thing in the world? And when you are in the university, what you study?
Okay, so when you were past tense, when you were a child, what was your favorite thing in the world? And what did you study at the university? Good questions, Luis. Nicole?
How is your family doing? And what advice would you give me as a 13-year-old?
Nice. What advice would you give me as a 13-year-old? That's a good question. Good one. Is Denise here? No? And so we have Sean.
I would ask what you think is the difference between a teenager and an adult, and in which part I have changed since you were my age.
Nice. I like those questions, Sean. Gianluigi?
Okay. What investment would you say me to buy your idea to make money in future? And how it's rise a child in 20 years?
Repeat the second question.
How it's rise a child in 20 years?
I'm not understanding it. Say it in Spanish.
Que cómo es criar a un niño en 20 años.
How is it to raise? How is it to raise a child in 20 years? Okay, yep. Interesting questions. And Owen?
How much did you have to spend to achieve your goals? And how much do you think you have improved in these 20 years?
Very good. Very good. Those are really great questions, kids. Let's go back to Casey.
Have you traveled at least half of the places you thought you had to visit in your life? Did you dare to try something you are not confident about but interested in?
Okay. But the second question, I mean, both of those questions can be answered with yes or no. So you need to change them a little bit. But okay, those were good questions. Diego Lopez, back to you.
Did you complete university? If you did you went to your dream university? The second one, is your family okay? If not, why?
Okay, good. The first question can also be answered with yes or no, but good questions. And Daniel?
What was my best experience in my games? And what career will be the best for myself?
Good. Okay, people. So that was the first round. So now that you have a good idea of what to do and you have a clear picture of who you will be in 20 years, we're going to do the second round. In this second round, you're going to ask yourself 3 questions. But be specific, okay? Don't just ask willy-nilly questions. Be specific. Okay, what type of questions am I looking for? Think about the things that you dream of. Now as a child at 13, 14, 15, think about your dreams and ask questions directed at those dreams, but not questions like, did you fulfill your dreams? No. Questions like, what did it feel like when you were studying to become an architect? Or what was the most difficult thing that happened to you when you went bungee jumping? Or did you really enjoy your trip in your safari through Africa? Or what was it like going to India and jumping into the Ganges River? Stuff like that. Think about the dreams that you have. Okay? Like, for instance, if one of your dreams is to go to India, specifically ask about that dream. If one of your dreams is to become a millionaire and go to the moon, ask about how it felt to go to the moon. Okay? And those are going to be 3 questions that you're going to ask next. So I'm going to give you 1 minute to think. 1 minute to think. Okay. So remember, focus on the things you dream of doing when you're older. And I hope you have dreams, because if you don't have dreams, then you don't have any direction to going. So think about the things that you dream, even if it's a big, crazy dream, it's possible. Think about that and base your questions on that. So we're going to do 3 questions. If you only got 2, that's fine. No problem. Okay? So we're going to start again with Casey. Do you have at least 1 question? Okay, tell me one of your dreams, Casey. Tell me one of your dreams and let's work on the questions. What's one of your dreams?
A singer.
Okay, so what's something you could ask yourself about that? In 20 years, let's pretend that 20 years went by and you became a world famous singer. What would you ask you?
Do you like to sing in how do I say escenario?
Stage. But that's a yes or no question. So you could ask, which stage was the one you most enjoyed singing on? Okay. Or you could ask, what type of music did you like singing best? Or which country was the most exciting for you to sing in? Okay. Okay. So I'm going to come back to you. Think about that. Oh my goodness, people need to leave me alone. Let's go to Tomas.
How do you feel traveling around Europe? What was the best part of Japan? And how was it like when you bought your own house?
Great questions. Really good questions, Tomas. Good job. And then we have Diego Lopez.
Okay. Did you travel to Japan with your mom? Did you achieve living in Japan? Are you a game programmer?
But Diego, I can answer yes, yes, yes to those questions. So you can say, what was the most interesting thing about traveling to Japan? What did you like most about living in Japan? And what was the most difficult thing about becoming a game programmer, I think you said? Okay, so always remember, people, change up the questions. Okay, let's go to Christian.
Okay. First one will be, did you have any accident during an operation at your work? The second will be, was it easy to put down some favorite things to do more important ones? And the last one will be, how long have you been wondering if you wanted to have a child?
Okay, good. Your first two questions, I can say yes or no. But yes, they were very good questions. Okay, let's go to Alondra.
Okay, you continue practice dance now as an adult and why? What was the most difficult thing about studying and dancing? What do you keep from dance in your adult life and why?
Nice, very good, Alondra. Daniela.
How did it feel to be able to put insomnia aside? Were you able to give your dad the desired trip to go to Scotland? And are you happy to have stopped being so sensitive?
Very good, Daniela. Very good. Let's go to Emily Valencia. Oh, she's not here. Oh, yes, you are. Sorry. Emily.
What was the most interesting thing you have did in Turkey? Was your best thing you do as an adult? And do you like your life as a tourist?
Okay, nice. And then we have Marcela.
Okay, my three questions are, what was the most difficult thing that you faced when you was studying at the university? Are you happy that you complete the majority of your dreams? If you're not, why? Are you a famous person? If you are, what is the best and the worst thing that be a famous have?
Okay, very good. And people, I know some of you are struggling with insomnia. I think Marcela had said once, a lot of times insomnia has to do with the inability to let go, the wanting to control stuff, probably because you feel that other things are out of your control, like somebody else is calling all the shots in your life. And so you need to have some control. And sometimes that translates into insomnia. You know what? Try hypnosis. It works. Let's go with Daniel Guillen.
How would you feel parachuting? I think that is the pronunciation.
Yes.
Do you think it is no? Do you think it is a good idea to collect most of the action figures and why?
Okay.
How do you feel with the dream that when you grow be a writer?
I like that, Daniel. I really like that. And then we have Luis.
My dream is I don't have idea.
Okay, then. So then we move on to Nicole.
So how did it feel when you became a millionaire?
I can't hear you speak.
How did it feel when you became a millionaire? How do you feel now that you have all this money? And what do you buy as a millionaire?
Very good. And people, when you become a millionaire, the first million they say is the hardest one. And then after that, the other millions come easier. So they say. So yeah, good, great questions, Nicole. And then we have Sean.
Okay. The first one is, do you become a streamer and why? How does it feel to do wingsuit flying? And what is the best thing of the Niagara Falls?
Very good. Nice. Great stuff. Gianluigi.
Okay. The first question is, what goals you haven't completed yet? Did you took a decision to make happy or satisfy another person, and how it influenced in your life, and how it influenced your life? And what feeling or emotions would you like to get back from your teenage?
Oh, good one. Good one. And Owen.
I only got two.
Go ahead.
How nervous were you on your first flight as an airplane pilot, knowing that all lives on the plane depend on you?
Wow.
How well they paid you, as you thought they would pay you 20 years ago?
Good one. So Casey, do you have a question? At least one? Go ahead.
Which of the places you visit as a singer did you like to go? What skill have you learned that will help you in your singing career? What kind of singer would you classify yourself as?
Very good. Very good. Okay, people. So if you have been following the news, it's quite confusing. Apparently, there's still COVID, and there's going to be COVID for a long time. But the Ministry of Education is encouraging people to start going back to school. So how do you feel about that? Is this something you want to do? Is this something you're not interested in? Tell me how you feel about going back to school. Probably not full time, but little by little. How does that make you feel? Anybody feeling anything?
It's gonna be weird.
It's
because
Huh?
you are going to see people that you don't see a long time ago.
But is that like a good weird or a bad weird?
A good weird. And also, it's like you have to be distance to everybody, and it's gonna be like hi, and the other person in the other part of the classroom is gonna talk with you and that stuff.
Yeah. Anybody else? How do you feel about this whole going back to school thing? Alondra says thumbs up. The rest of you? You know, most of the fear is coming from the adults, not so much the kids. A lot of kids' parents are scared, and the kids are like, yeah, let's go back. And the parents are like, no, I don't want to go back. So it's kind of confusing. Now, we're not going to start back full this third trimester, upcoming third trimester, but you probably will get more in-person classes. Of course, they're not going to be mandatory because people get to decide how much they want to be exposed. But hopefully by March, we will be 100% back in school, okay? And it might seem like, oh yeah, great stuff, but you still have to kind of prepare yourself in because you have been locked up at home for 2 entire school years, last year and the whole of this year. So, start working on yourself, thinking about, gotta wake up early, put on a uniform and go sit on a bench for hours and listening to for hours. So prepare yourself for that. And even though you might miss your friends, being able to stay home had its advantages. Like, for instance, you don't have to wear pants because nobody's going to see if you're wearing pants or not. That's an advantage. And, if you don't have to ask to go to the bathroom, you can just say you have bad internet and not show up to class and, good stuff. So start preparing yourself for going back to 100% in person. It's going to be kind of like a culture shock because you haven't seen a lot of your friends for a long time and you're going to want to talk. And then you have this adult telling you to not talk because it's class. So, start preparing yourself for that. Anyway, people, this has been fun. And hopefully next year I get to see all of you again. And those of you who are not in my class is because you're in my other class with the bigger kids. And I had an idea. That I kind of enjoyed teaching spelling, but not so much like in a classroom. So you're going to keep getting spelling videos. Those of you who are in 7th and 8th right now, those of you in ninth grade, you escaped spelling. But the rest of you, I don't think I'm going to give you a spelling class in person. We're going to keep that being videos because spelling class in person is just really pointless. Anyway, people, I enjoyed all of this. I think this is our last class for the second trimester. See you next trimester. Bye-bye. Those of you who owe me work, send it. Send the work. Okay, bye-bye.
God bless you. I don't participate because I don't practice.
Okay, Luis, very interesting.